currently having a ton of fun with Deadlock. The biggest issue about the game, though, by far, is they need to change this for sure. The first 10 minutes of the game, 100% of the souls are split, meaning everybody gets 100% of the souls in the lane. And that's just nice if people do the right thing, which this guy is trying to abuse it. He went from his solo lane, cleared the wave super quick as fast as he could, and then he tried running over to duo lane so he could soak up more souls. And this fundamentally flaws the game, because if you don't do this strategy, you end up just falling behind, because souls is how you get your items, it's how you level up your abilities. And if you have 1,000 more souls just by roaming from lane to lane, 1,000 more souls than your opponent, you're just going to have a huge advantage. And that's what this guy's trying to do. He's a freaking nerd, and I knew that he was doing it.
Oh! Now you fucked up! Now you fucked up! Now you fucked up! You have fucked up now!
And in Deadlock, the lanes go 1-2-2-1. It's a 6v6 game, and they tried doing this so that way everybody would get the same amount of souls, just because if you're in a duo lane, you'd get half the souls as the solo laners, which would mean that you're kind of at a disadvantage, and they didn't design the game around that. They didn't design it around people having less souls than everybody else. It's kind of just, you need to farm more efficiently than the other people and get a lead that way. But with people abusing this, they don't have to be more advanced in terms of macro than the other people, and it creates this horrible loop. It's like funneling in League of Legends, kinda. Except it's just way worse, because everybody's just getting more souls. Because you can have multiple people doing this. And I think the best way that you can do this strategy right now is both duo lanes do it, not the solo lanes. Just because when the one person is roaming, your teammate is holding the wave. They're trying to just stop it. They're not pushing, but they're not losing out on souls in case if they need to last hit it. But essentially, if you have like a McGinnis as well as your duo lane partner, you guys clear the wave super quick, and then you roam over to a solo lane, you soak up that XP, and then you run back. Your McGinnis walled off the wave, so you didn't miss anything, and they can't even push. There's no counter to that at all right now. So I think McGinnis might be the most scummy duo lane partner for this strategy, now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, you just get 2 waves worth, when most people who are trying to play the game traditionally, how I think the developers wanted it to be played, when they're playing it like that, they just have such a huge advantage, and I cannot state that enough. So high level play in this, if there are people who want to scum it out, they can really just create this unfun loop. And I think the majority of people that have noticed this problem they're on the same page. But let me know what you guys think of this, if you guys have played Deadlock or whatnot. I'm still fairly new, like I still suck for sure, but it's just fun learning a new MOBA and trying to get better at it. There are so many different items, like the theory crafting is through the roof. And I'll just say this right now, Smite does have a tough road ahead of itself. There is no shot, no chance whatsoever to make Smite as competitive as this game, macro-wise or micro. The amount of buttons that you can press in this game, phenomenal. I would say that there are some huge balancing issues with some characters, like Shiv does a ridiculous amount of damage for no frickin' reason. You don't even have to build him properly, and he'll still do a crap ton for, like, he could go all tank items and he'll still out DPS people. What's another one? I think Haze is pretty balanced. She has a really crappy lane, in my opinion. But then you got characters like Wraith who are just, they're far superior than most characters in the game with dueling. So if you ever try catching him split pushing, you better have another teammate. Vindicta, she has a pretty oppressive kit as well with the snipe. Once you max it out, you get 600 extra souls, which is just soul generation that other people won't be getting. Kind of like Pike in League of Legends, sorry. Which I don't think most people like that. But hey, they're going with the method of if everything's broken, then nothing can be more, you know, overtuned than the other thing, I guess. I could have worded that better, but if everybody's OP, everybody else should be fine with it. So if you guys haven't seen the game at all, Deadlock, my character, I would say that he's one of the most supporty out of the bunch. Once you rank up his ice grenade, it heals teammates, and that's why you can see that green bar, the Vindicta. I was healing her up. And it does a pretty good chunk. It's 145 health, and people who don't build max HP, you can see that bar go up quite a lot. And you can get items like Healing Booster, which could increase the heal benefit. There's Spirit Lifesteal in the game. Just a whole bunch of other stuff. I plan on making some videos for the game, just talking over it. And what are the other pressing issues? I would say once you start winning more games and you get familiar with one character, you know, you have those spurs where you'll play a character for 5 to 10 games, and then you'll want to try something new, but the matchmaking system puts you in with people who are also good, but you're on a new character, right? So there's no rank system as it stands, and when you're trying out a new character, I'll tell you what, Paradox, she is so hard to learn, in my opinion, because you put yourself out of position. You basically swap. Like, it's a skill shot, you chuck it at somebody, and then they swap places, meaning you could be put in the back line of the enemy team, and you could have put them in your front line, right? That's the whole goal, but it's all about timing with her, and you can inch your brains out. So that's what I was doing my first 4 or 5 games. And I was getting paired with some people who, they only played one character their whole time playing Deadlock. So they had a big advantage. They weren't trying something new. And I think everybody knows that. Like, eventually there's going to be a competitive, there's going to be a ranked, and more casual gameplay, you'll be able to try out new characters. But right now, it does suck. When you're on a win streak, and then you go, hey, I'll try this character out, and then you get your brains blown out by somebody who's got 500 hours in the game. And 400 of them are from the character that they're beating your ass with. Pocket is so ridiculous, though. I think his kit needs to be changed. I don't like it at all. The most evasive character, I would say, he has an invulnerability where he goes into a suitcase, and if he throws out his coat, his spirit coat, before going invulnerable, it travels, and he can send it sky high, be invulnerable, wait for it to travel super far away, and then blow up. Because the suitcase that's invulnerable, it does an AoE explosion. And after that, he can instantly teleport away. There's no channeling effect. So it's just so annoying. You need like 2 people to be able to deal with him truly. Otherwise he gets away. Because you either have to chase the coat, or you have to sit there at the suitcase. And you can't do it all by yourself, if the player's good. Calvin is the best character, I would say, for denying souls with the objectives. So that's another thing with this game. I don't know if you caught on to that. But you can deny souls. The orange ones are the last hits of the enemy team on minions, and you can kill those. Unless they melee them, the souls will always drop if they last hit. And then you just need to take it. I don't think there's a single character with a weapon that has a hit scan weapon. So Calvin's laser beam is hit scan. Wherever you aim that cursor, it's doing that dot damage. That was Paradox's ability, by the way. There's so much to talk about. Honestly, I should have probably wrote up a script because I don't know how coherent I'm going to sound here. Because it's all still fresh and new to me. I figured I'd go off the hip with it.
Would appear that I'm on a roll, yes?
And another good thing about her, not good if you're playing up against her, but if people go through that shield, they lose 10% of their max HP. So that fits well with her combo. She puts her shield down, she ults you, swaps places, you're forced to go through the shield. And then she smacks you in the head with her rail cannon, her rail gun. There's some funny stuff going around too. Like, I've seen people in my games who they can crouch, slide without being in a sprint state. And in this game, there's no sprint button. If you don't attack after a certain amount of time, you'll go into a sprint animation. And as soon as you attack, you go out of it. But once you hit a certain threshold of movement speed, you can slide just by walking. Because normally the way that you slide, you have to roll, you have to do a combat roll, and then press the crouch button, and then you'll start crouching. The reason why this is so important, why I'm saying it, when you're sliding, you have infinite ammo. So effectively, with these builds that these people are making, you can almost have infinite ammo just by running around and shooting people, not wasting your stamina to do so, to chase a kill down. It's also just important in every single MOBA game, and I would say every shooter. If you have more movement than somebody else, you're just going to inherently have an advantage, unless they smoke you like out of oblivion with a one-shot or something like that. I have not done any numbers into this game, but like just looking at all of the items and how many different ways to counter characters, it's just so good. I seriously, Smite is going to be for the most casual players, because this game's going to be free. I still don't like that they released the NDA right around when Smite 2's alpha 24/7 came around. I still think that that's scummy and cutthroat, but I mean, they're a businessman. They don't give a shit at the end of the day, and I'm sure everybody's going to say that. That's just life. That guy got owned.
Will none of you rise to the challenge?
It also feels really good going an anti-heal item up against people that are trying to use lifesteal. Like in Furnace, I'll see people with 63% spirit lifesteal and they'll have bullet lifesteal as well on top of it. And if you go something like Decay, which is an active item that singles them out, it does 50% healing reduction, you'll just see them get blown up. And it's like so many other items have just been, the efficacy of them have been just reduced to nothing. It's a great feeling, man. That's one of the amazing parts of MOBAs, is being able to go through every single situation and counter them. I thought a camp was up there. There can be a camp that spawns. I do plan to sink in some hours I'm Deadlock pilled. And currently Smite 2, this is mainly a Smite 2 channel. Or just Smite in general. I don't know, there's not enough going on. Like, they add 2 characters in every 3 weeks. And Deadlock, you can actually go in right now and see the characters that they're trying to make in the sandbox tool. There's a dev command in the console that shows the list of all the heroes. And I think there's like 9 or 10 that you can actually play around with the current kit. Granted, some of them have their character models aren't even made, but you can still see the general idea of what they're going for with the abilities and stuff. I think that's super cool. And it's an Easter egg too. They're not like telling everybody this. But I found that out off a video when I was watching like what characters there were. That popped up. I was like, wow, that's a smart thing to do, actually. Because it gives content creators something to do. Like, hey, we checked the hero list this month, and they're already adding more characters, and this is how these characters have come along. Like, it's not like a drip feed. Basically, they're giving you all of it. They're giving you the crap. I think my knowledge of the game has kind of that's what I know about it so far.
Now go out there and impose your will.
Really, the item system is complicated, and there's no cookie cutter. I know that for a fact. You can try to go every single game doing the same exact thing, but I'll tell you what, if you want to be the most optimal, your build is not going to be the same every game. It just won't. And I would say maybe if you're playing somebody like Vindicta, who has such a long range ability with the snipe, you could probably get away with just full blaster builds and cookie cutter that way. But if you're playing somebody like Calvin, like McGinnis especially, I think McGinnis has a few different builds. Paradox, I know Paradox has a bunch. Like I said, I'm still trying to learn her and the ins and outs. And that was such a smart thing that they did, honestly. You have to get an invite from somebody who already has the playtest in order to play the game, and it pretty much made it so they didn't, when the game initially came out, they didn't flood the servers, so it wasn't a horrible experience. People kind of came in slowly over time until there's been this community that has collected over the course of friends inviting friends. I hope more games do that, actually. Because fingers crossed, I have not had problems with the servers at all. Like, it's night and day between Smite 1, Smite 2, stuff like that. Like, these servers are impeccable. Like, what am I getting right now? I'm getting 16. That's a freaking wet dream in other games for me. Even Call of Duty with the packet loss and stuff. Valve's doing it right, man. They got a great reputation. They have the amazing success of Dota 2 that they're coming off of, and Team Fortress 2.
It's time for you to receive your heart's desire.
I didn't do too well that game, I would say. For the lead that I had, like only having 15,000 damage, I don't know. Look at that healing, though. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for sticking around throughout all my rambling. I will see you around. Peace.